Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Slay the Giant podcast. And today I have a special guest host with me, and it's none other than my husband, Geraint Powell. Welcome to the Slay the Giant podcast.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. And today is our love edition, our Valentine's Day edition. Valentine's Day is coming up. Or maybe by the time you're listening to this, it's already Valentine's Day. So, we're going to talk a little bit about love. This is something we talk about often in our conversations. So, I'm really excited to share this conversation with my husband. And we talked about this on our last episode that we got married in August of last year, and we have just hit 6 months of marriage, and it's been very good. So we're going to talk about our experiences so far and all of the things that we think you would want to know. So first off, babe, can you share our love story or how we met? And then we're going to see if we align. I think we will align, but you share your side of how we met in our love story.
So, how I recall how we met is through our good friends, my brother David and his wife. So, they made a bet at first uh, that they're wondering, hey, I wonder if Geraint and Ashley would hit it off if we hook them up together. So, a phone call was made and a picture was sent. So I'm like, what's going on? Who's this? I'm like, oh, this is Ashley. They're like, yeah. Hey, so would you like to talk to her? I was like, what you mean? And I was like, huh? I don't know what do y'all talk about?
Well, because we thought I was in a relationship.
Right.
Right. But he didn't
So
know that I was single at the time. So
so I thought it was pretty weird, and I'm like, listen, everybody knows that she's engaged. So why y'all? And they're like, how much Ashley's you know? I'm like, I know the one, but that's her story. So I end up getting her number from them and end up placing a call the next day. You can pick up from there.
So he placed the call the next day, and we started talking and kind of like reintroducing ourselves because we've known each other for over 20 years. And, just being a part of like the same church and having some of the same friends. David and Ebony are our close friends. We're actually both godparents to their children. And so, we've known them and we've known the community, and we're a part of the same community. And we've actually been to a lot of events together at the same time. Just never thought to start dating and becoming a couple. And so we talked for a very long time. We talked that night for a long time, like hours, and then we just started the whole night.
The whole night.
Yeah, it was a lot to catch up on, and
we had no sleep to go to work.
No, we were very tired. You're absolutely right. We were very tired because we just enjoyed each other's company, and the conversation just kept going. And it's been that way. Like we never have a lapse of anything. We always have something to talk about. But anyway, we started talking. And then we talked for a long time before we decided to make it anything more than that. And we were just, talking about, each other's faith, getting to know each other better, making sure that we aligned in like purpose and in life and in the things that we wanted for our future. And then we talked about going on our first date. You want to talk about our first date?
So our first date did not happen until, what was it, a month?
Yeah,
2 months?
It was more than a month. It was a
3
while.
months.
Yeah.
3 months. 3 months of us talking, and our first date was in Worcester, where it was a like a three-part thing. So we did dinner, we did an escape room.
That was fun.
That was exciting. Just to find out we didn't complete it, we only did an hour and a half because it was just two of us
Yeah, it was
solving
good
all those
though. Yeah,
problems.
yeah.
Um, and then we just hung out in the car watching movies. But yeah, that was our date night after 3 months of being on the phone consistently.
Right. And while we were doing that, we were enjoying each other, having a good time, talking. I didn't want the night to end. Like it was just so much fun, and it was just like from the first time we hung out, it was like talking to one of your close friends, because it was we had a lot in common, just in how we were raised, and just in a lot of the things that we had in common as far as like events that we participated in and the things that we just had in common. So that was a lot of fun. And from that first date, we started to make connections, started to get to know each other better. And over time, eventually started to incorporate family. We definitely dated privately though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
we
We
were
did.
private.
No one knew about it really other than David and Ebony.
In our family, in
And
our family. Yeah.
once they were brought in.
Yeah, once they're brought in. And I thought that that was very important because, I'm a minister, you're also active in your local church. We're both, preachers' kids. And a lot of people may know us. And so we wanted to invite the right voices in, and make sure that we were in alignment first before we went public about anything. And so we were very, very, very much excited about that. And then we dated for a while. We it started to enjoy each other's company, and then it started to get more serious, right?
Yeah, we did it for what, a year now?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we
2 years?
definitely, I believe that everyone should date for at least 4 seasons so you can see that person in every season of their life and you get to know them in different ways. One of the things that was unique about our relationship is that at the time you lived in Boston and I lived in Connecticut. And so Garain would drive up every week to come and see me, and we do things together. And sometimes we'd meet in the middle and we'd watch, go to a movie or what have you. And it was nice. We double dated a few times, and that was all fun too. But we were very, very intentional about our dating experiences and making sure that we just were doing the right things because we wanted to please God ultimately in what we were doing. And especially being that we were older, I was in my 30s and you're in your early 40s. And so, we wanted to make sure that, we were doing the right thing. So I do have a few questions for you, Mr. Powell. And the question is, how did your faith influence your approach to our relationship in the early stages? So how was your faith impacted or influenced in the early stages of our relationship?
So in the early stages, how my faith impacted is that I had a good example in my parents as to what I want in a marriage and where I want to go with finding the right woman for me and allowing God to lead that. Um, Even though, it took time or what have you, but that was just the focus and just trusting God with the process.
Yeah. And trusting God. And for me, like my faith was impacted because I too was believing God and waiting on the Lord, and praying, and then having the village pray, because, as you get older, there's a lot of pressure. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't allow the pressure to get me to move in a quick fashion, but also making sure that I was being very prayerful. And so a lot of times we would pray with our friends. We would pray and fast during that process so that we could really make sure that we were doing the right things and just going in the right direction. Because you can be with the right person, but then also not taking the right steps to really maintain your focus in God and maintain your relationship with Jesus. Because a lot of times, babe, when you're in a relationship, you often make that the idol or the thing that you're focused on. But
Mhm.
in actuality, in a dating relationship or even engagement or marriage, the focus has to be and remain on God. So one of the things we highlighted was that we got married in a little bit later in life. And some people may say, well, it's better to marry early or it's better to marry later in life. I've heard all types of statistics and reasonings behind it. But for us, what do you say, babe, was the benefit of marrying a little bit later as you got older?
I would say the benefit is, waiting is key in certain things. Yes, people will say, I wish I would have got married younger and so on, but certain things aren't in place yet, and you're more mature now,
Yeah,
so you're able to make confident decisions.
yeah,
So and
very
stand
true.
on your decisions, because you don't want to be with someone who, when things get rough or whatever, they're like wishy-washy all over the place. So you want to stand on your word. You want to your you know stand on your convictions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think like by this time our values are set, like we know who we are. We're very focused. And also like, when you're younger, sometimes you are a little indecisive,
Right.
but now that we're older, we're like firm, we know what we want. We know we wanted, to be with each other. And so that made the big difference in everything and how we related to one another. And so it's okay to wait. It's okay to marry later. We feel like we made the right decision at the right time in our lives because there are challenges, but we feel like we're mature and in a place to handle those challenges because of the time we waited and just that confidence in what we're doing
Right.
and what God is doing in us. So that I think that is powerful. um, so, babe, another question. How do we keep our relationship strong while balancing work, faith, and personal time? How do we balance that?
So we do date nights.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we go out to, like, she has things that she's interested in. I have things that I'm interested in. So we try to make that something that we go out, we take trips and pray together.
Oh, yeah.
That's key. And yeah, we'll make it fun.
Make it fun, absolutely. Keep it fun, keep it light. That's the one thing that we like to do. We're always laughing with one another, joking. It's just it can be a lot of fun. Obviously, in a marriage there are things, there are happy days, there are sad days, there are good things, there's so many things that can happen within the course of the marriage, but we really try to have fun despite whatever may come, and just enjoy each other's company, each other's time, because this is what we pray for, right?
Right.
God has answered our prayer, and although there may be difficult times, we want to definitely enjoy each other's company, each other's time, being in each other's space. That was one of the biggest things that I had to learn. When you get married later, you have to now, share space. And so that is something that is a work in progress. But I think I did a good job of making sure that we maintained, space and that kind of thing. So, babe, what has been one of the greatest experiences so far in our marriage? What is one of the highlights of our marriage so far? Something that you enjoy?
So highlight for me is I no longer worry about myself. I worry about my wife now. So knowing that I see her at the end of the day, and just to lay eyes on her, everything feels right in the world. So that's one of my biggest highlights is to know that I have a partner in faith, I have a partner in life, I have someone to hold at nights.
Come on, somebody. Absolutely. That is probably the best part is like, you waited. So now you don't have to wait. It's like, we can enjoy one another, if you know what I mean. So it's a blessing, absolutely, to be married and those times are fun. Like when we can just cuddle and enjoy one another. We have a really good time doing that as well. So anyway, um, so here's some questions I have for you, babe. Some like kind of like we call this rapid fire questions. And so you can answer honestly, as honest as you want. So what is your favorite date night activity?
Favorite dinner and a movie.
Dinner and a movie. What's the silliest thing I've ever done?
Silliest thing you have ever done? It's quite so many of them. Pull up one.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, one of the last road trip, you wanted to take a picture, but you like pulled down the visor
Oh,
in
I
front of me
remember
while
that.
we're on the highway.
I thought you were gonna say I danced. I was trying to do the
Nah.
fun dance tonight. What's the most memorable gift I've ever given you?
My black and blue Air Forces.
Oh, those are nice. And what is one word you use to describe our relationship?
Amazing.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you could give one piece of advice to a young couple who may be going through that engagement, wedding planning stage, what is some advice you can give them? Because a lot of folks are, preparing for marriage or engaged. What piece of advice could you give a young man or a young woman in the process of planning their wedding?
For a young couple, I would say take your time. Don't listen to everyone that's around you. It's about you. It's about you guys.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself and believe in her.
Yeah.
And trust what she wants to do.
Yeah.
You're there as a guide.
So no groomzillas.
So where she incorporates you, be a support.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when things get hectic for her, take her away from it all. Bring her mind back. Go out, have a date night, do something fun to wheel it back in, because it does get hard. But above all, enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy every moment of it. And one of the greatest things, you can't invite everybody. Everybody can't come.
Wow, that was a lesson we had to learn. Not everyone can come, but we love everybody and we wanted everyone there. And we were so grateful for those who were able to come. But that's a hard thing, is that guest list. It was a very hard thing to narrow it down to who could come and who couldn't. But we were grateful. We had a beautiful wedding. Maybe we should come on and talk about just the wedding itself. Like it was just.
That's another episode.
Yeah. But we had a great wedding. We had a beautiful wedding. It was the perfect day.
She threw an amazing wedding.
Oh, you did too, babe.
She in my wedding. I just showed up.
You were a huge part of like the planning and coordinating. Like my husband was very, very involved. Like anytime everyone was asking me like, how, what's his role? I'm like, oh no, he is definitely definitely organized and was very much on point, a part of everything, attended all of the meetings. Like he was definitely in sync with everything that was happening. He was not in the background. So I love that about you, Green. And I love that you are so intentional about the way you love me, the way you care for me, and how you support me in everything that I do, including this podcast and just in ministry. Because taking on the role of a husband, of someone who is very actively involved in ministry, is not easy. And I appreciate you for standing by me, for being an encouragement at all times, and for always, always, always praying for me. This man prays for me day and night, always looking out for me, making sure that everything is taken care of, not only with me physically, but also in this house. And it's just been a beautiful thing to do life with you. And no matter what, we have just been together in that agreement. And the one thing that everyone advised me about in marriage is be prayerful and always be in agreement, because the enemy likes confusion, and he likes to bring separation and discord in a marriage. But in this marriage, we're one, and we are in agreement on what God has called us to do. And we look forward to seeing many more days of what God is going to do. And we're excited about our future. So thank you all for joining us for Slay the Giant podcast, special Love Day, Valentine's Day edition. Please, please write a review, write a comment, give us 5 stars. And we thank you for joining. And tell me if you want to have Mr. Powell. Ooh, if you want to have Mr. Powell back on our podcast, we definitely look forward to sharing more with you. Have a blessed day, and keep slaying those giants.